Hi, Laurie. Lovely to have you on the show with us today.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to Amarose podcast. So
Glad.
please tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Wonderful. Yes. My name is Laurie Stirling. I live in the north of the UK in Newcastle upon Tyne. And you might notice from my accent, I'm actually have an Australian accent. So I moved to the UK about 3.5 years ago, just in time for a pandemic, as it happens. And but yeah, myself and my family have settled in nicely here in the UK. And for work, I am an operational efficiency expert, and I use those skills primarily to help people become an integrator of a business. So an integrator of a business is usually the second in charge of a business. So you'll find that there's an entrepreneur who has a big vision and idea and gets that off the ground and running. At some point in their growth, they'll bring on staff, and they'll need to bring on some sort of like a general manager, COO, operations efficiency sort of expert in the business to run the operations, while the leader of the business can be the face of the business and that key person of influence that you might know about. So yeah, both of those roles really work hand in hand together, a bit of a yin and yang. And so that's there's a lot of information out there about how to become like a key person of influence, like that leadership role, but not a lot about being that secondary support. Still a leader in the business, but yeah, sort of what that involves. It's more of like a details oriented person. So that in a nutshell is what I do. I hope that is I know it's a detailed explanation, but yeah, that's who I am.
My question to you is how on earth did you get into this and how did you how did you fall into being this expert on efficiency? And yeah, I'm just curious to know how it all started.
Yeah,
But
it
first
was,
of all, before we go
yeah,
on to that,
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
curious to know why you moved from sunny Australia to grey and grim Newcastle. I know it's not grim all the time, but
Yeah,
what
yeah.
a change, right?
Yeah, bit of a change. Well, the thing is, when we lived in Australia, we actually lived like in the inland outback. There weren't beaches where we came from. So
Oh, okay.
Newcastle is actually, a step up in that it's closer to a coastline and things like that. But
Wow.
we moved our family. Like my husband has dual citizenship. He's got British passport because his father was born in England. And so yeah, we came out here um, on his passport. Yeah, that's how it
Incredible.
happened. Yeah.
And how do you find Newcastle?
It's very windy and cold, but the people here are so friendly, and it's beautiful coast, beautiful countryside. Yeah, we love it.
Amazing.
Mm.
So, going back to your role as an operations efficiency expert, how
Yes.
did you get into it?
It's a bit of a story. I guess it started out, I've always had a bit of an entrepreneurial spirit to me. So when I met my husband, he was a graphic designer, and first thing I thought was, graphic designer, yeah, I can work with that. I can turn that into a business. So we, at 21 years old, we launched our first business, and that was a graphic design business. And that turned into a web design business, and then eventually a web development business. And we ran that
Wow.
for about 10 years. But we closed that down to move to the UK. And then I actually, before we did move to the UK, I started using my skills to become a business coach. So mainly focused on like the financial side, like of running a business, so financial business coaching side of things. And while I was doing that coaching, like looking at the numbers, because that's what I was good at, looking at the numbers, analyzing the data, and decided that, well, and realized that it wasn't enough just to look at the numbers and the finance side. I had to go deeper and look into the operations of the business and realize that to improve the numbers, you had to improve the operations. And so my curiosity was piqued then. And when I moved to the UK, I actually, like, we closed down our business, and hubby joined a tech startup and, things like that. And so I was sort of left, twiddling my thumbs, like, okay, what do I do now that we don't have the business? What can I do to use my skills? And I ended up, through amazing set of connections, getting in contact with an author, Mike McCullough. I don't know if anyone's heard of the book Profit First, but he also authored a book called Clockwork. And
Yes, I know that book.
oh, you have?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I reached out. I used to listen to the podcast, and on the podcast, the co-founder of the business, Adrian, she said that she was having a baby and she was going to be clockworking herself out of the role. And it just clicked for me. I'm like, yes, that's the piece that I've been missing in my business coaching expertise. And so on a whim, I emailed the, podcast email and hoped it would find somebody out there. And I said, I spoke about my background, owning a business, doing the financial coaching. And when we, I left it, put it out there, didn't hear anything back for a couple of weeks. And then ping, I got an email return saying, actually, I think your skills would suit our company at this stage. Like,
Wow,
let's have a chat and we'll talk. And so this is all done online, from a different country. That's a US based company. I was working in the UK, so different time zones and things like that. But it all, I ended up joining that company and worked there for 18 months. Got obsessed with operational efficiency, and that's how I started in that. But then the entrepreneurial side of me just couldn't leave it there. I'm like, no, I need to. I ended up wanting to. I saw that integrator role, and that team already had an integrator in that team, and she did a fantastic job at it. But I realized that was the role that I wanted to do and wanted to, and so I ended up reaching out to a few networking and seeing like who else out there wanted this integrator role in their business. And I've worked with quite a few CEOs now, being their like second in charge, but because I do it on like a client basis. So they're looking for part-time integrators at this stage because their business hasn't quite grown into full-time. So I support a few CEOs in that role.
Wow, what an interesting story. That's
So long-winded, that is how it all came to be.
incredible. And what do you think is more important, like the visionary, the person who's the visionary or the integrator? Or are they both equally important, and why?
It depends on the size of the business. So if your business is, say, less than 5 people on staff, then the visionary role is definitely the most important role at that time. But you'll find the visionary also has to wear a lot of hats, has to do all the things. And quite often entrepreneurs can feel like a sense of pride in being able to do everything and being a lone wolf and going out there on their own. And to actually turn a vision into a profitable business, that's brilliant. That's amazing. That's very skillful. There comes a time, if you want your business to scale, you can't do everything yourself. And so you will need an integrator in your business to be able to grow. And that integrator can look like many things. It could look like, start off as a VA, and that VA turns into an OBM or a project manager, or it could even be like a sales person, and you find that, yeah, as the business grows, people who might start out as generalists will turn into specialists as they hone in their skill. So,
Interesting. It sounds like, I don't know, where, as you mentioned about wearing the many different hats, it reminds me of a book by, I can't remember his name, but he talks about the 6 different hats and they all
oh,
have different colors.
yeah,
And it talks about kind of rationality, like how maybe the green hat looks at, no, sorry, the white hat looks at information. That's one I remember. The
mm,
white one looks at information, and there's all these different hats and what they represent. And I
yeah,
suppose we can kind of compare that to a business, right? Because there's
absolutely.
so many elements that you have to kind of focus on, and sometimes it's impossible to do everything.
That's
You
right.
just
And
wear yourself out, wear yourself
yeah,
thin. So
yeah.
so yeah, so talking about books, what are your 3 favorite self-help books?
Well, I definitely have to put Clockwork up there on the top. That's by Mike Michalowicz. Um, I'd say number 2 is Key Person of Influence by Daniel Priestley. That talks about that visionary leadership role, which is super important, but it also does talk about the importance of having that support behind you and that integrator role. He might not call it integrator, but yeah, that role he talks about. And then I'd say my third is a book on productivity called Indistractable by Ner Eyal. So that's, yeah, I'm all into efficiency, productivity. Yeah, that's
So what's
my
something that
jam.
you learned, or one point that you learned from Clockwork that you think was invaluable to you and your business?
I would say the art of delegation, in that you might think that because you bring such a specialized skill to the organization, or 15 years of experience, that you can't delegate your role, or you just would need to hire another you, and your business probably couldn't afford that. I'd say it is, take a step back and break down all the pieces that make you you,
Mm,
and delegate smaller pieces out, even if it only means that you're hiring someone for 5 hours a week.
yeah.
That's fine. That would suit somebody's lifestyle and somebody's skills very well. And yeah, don't let that hold you back. It not being able to extract your knowledge. So,
Interesting. And what about the second book?
Key Person of Influence. I would say the biggest thing I took from that is leveraging partnerships and leveraging and making sure that your products are in an ecosystem.
Mm,
Um, so I think, yeah, don't like you having just one product or service is actually doing yourself a disservice. You want to have a product ecosystem that takes people from a lead right through to continuing services ongoing.
amazing, interesting information.
Yes.
Lastly, what about Indestructible? One thing or one takeaway from that book?
Yeah, I would say learning the skill of time blocking. So not using a to-do list, having, they can be very daunting. They can be 50 items long. But when you can take what's on your to-do list and put it inside your calendar, get rid of the to-do list. If you think of something that needs to be done, go and put it in your calendar. Don't put it on your to-do list. And I think that is biggest advantage I've taken from that book.
And what about like people, for example, who put things on their calendar,
Mm,
but they never stick to it because they always kind of potter around doing other stuff that they,
yeah. Then there's 2 things to it. At the end of the day, I always do an end of day review, and I look through the things that I did do, and I also look through the things that I didn't do, and I ask myself, why didn't I do this task? And it's usually because there's a pain point attached to it, or it's bigger than I realized, or I don't really know how to do that, so I keep putting it off, or it's too big of a job, or it makes me feel uncomfortable in some way. So
Amazing.
understanding,
Wow.
why I'm not doing that task and getting to the bottom of it. Well, do I need to break it down in smaller chunks? Do I need a bit of accountability? Do I need to just delegate it to somebody else and get somebody else to do it and get it off my list altogether? So,
Wow, that's very useful. Absolutely. Wow. Thank you for that.
oh,
I'm
good.
sure people will find that very, very useful.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about burnout. Now, I know that's a very popular theme amongst entrepreneurs and amongst
Mm.
not just entrepreneurs, but people who, as we were speaking about before, wear many hats.
Yes.
Their parents, have their daytime job, they're trying
Yeah.
to build their business at the same time, they have to run a household, all of these different things.
Yes.
How do we avoid burnout?
It has to be, comes back to time blocking as well. Like, don't just time block things for your business. Make sure you time block your personal events in there too. Where sometimes people wear how many hours they work as a badge of honor. But if you consider how many hours you take off from your business as a badge of honor as well, then it's just a changing that mindset around it, that you are allowed to take time off from your business. In fact, your business would be healthier for it, because it gives your team members a bit of autonomy, a bit of the ability to problem solve without you having to dive in and be the superhero of the business. And let people get on with things and don't become the bottleneck in the tasks that you do.
Nice.
Mm.
Now, next, what advice would you give for people? I think we've kind of touched upon that, but
Mhm.
do you think there's anything else to add on efficiency?
Efficiency, yes. I would say, um, don't think of efficiency as trying to fit more things in a day. That's actually what I would call productivity. If you increase the number of hours, you'll increase the number of output. If you increase the input, you'll increase the output. But efficiency is when you can keep the input the same or even decrease the input, but have a greater output. So making the time that you do spend in your business or in your work more effective and more focused, and more efficient, like in whether that is automating using technology or getting rid of activities that aren't helping, and making sure you are doing that higher level task rather than get caught up with the low level sort of administration. Yeah.
Amazing. All right. Now, a little bit about you. Who would you say you admire?
Oh, um, I would say I admire the Duchess of Cambridge.
Oh,
Yes.
nice. Wow.
I well, because she seems to, probably for efficiency, she seems to be everywhere and can do everything. She's always got something that she's doing and achieving and accomplishing, but it's always for like the higher good, like to try and help the society that she works for, and because she always looks amazing doing it as well.
Yes. Yes. No one could take that away from her, right?
Yes.
No. Amazing. Cool. And then lastly, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
um it might sound strange, but I would actually I'd want the superpower of invisibility, to
Oh,
be a fly on the wall sort of thing, to be able to be, see what goes on in like the bigger room sort of thing, to be able to, like see what happens inside Parliament, or see what happens inside um the
White House and stuff.
C-suite, or those big 500 Fortune 500 companies and things like that. That's, I reckon, have a peek inside what goes on there.
Well, sometimes when you are a fly on the wall, you see things that you don't want to see, right? Like
Yes.
Matthew Hancock and his.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I guess there can be disadvantages to it too, that sometimes you want to be seen, so
Yeah.
you give a bit of accountability, that's
Yeah.
for sure. Mm.
Fantastic. So that's been amazing talking about you and your business.
Thank
But
you.
I understand now we're going to have a look at some Australian idioms, which I'm so excited for. I
Yeah.
can't wait.
Yeah.
Um, so we said we're going to do what, two or three each?
Yeah, that works for me.
How it goes. Okay. So you can start.
Okay. What if I started with a sentence and um and you tell me if there's any words I use that you're sort of like, what? Hang on. What
Okay.
does that mean?
All right.
All right. If I was to say, G'day, cobbers. I defo would love to put on a billy with yous, but fair dinkum, I'm pretty flat out. She'll be apples, though. I'll be stoked to meet one day, but in the meantime, we'll all keep up the hard yakka.
It's a different language.
Almost.
Okay, let's do the first part.
Okay. So G'day, cobbers is,
Okay. Is that
hello. Yeah, what do you reckon that would mean?
like, uh, you're right, mate? Maybe something like that.
It's basically saying very good friends to be a
Okay.
cobber.
A
You're a good
caller is
friend.
a really good friend. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. And then the next part.
Okay. I would defo love to put on a billy.
Does that go for a drink?
It's it's have a cup of tea. It's like a billy is a
Oh,
teapot. Yeah, so
oh, a billy is a
definitely,
teapot.
yeah,
And
billy.
do we know the history of where that came from?
Yeah, it's sort of it's the bush, like the bush explorers would have a billy. A billy is what they use to boil up water, and yeah, which I guess is,
Wow, interesting. A
oh,
billy. So, cup
yeah,
of tea, a billy, have a billy. Is that
yeah,
right?
that's it. Well, the billy is the teapot, but yeah,
Okay.
the billy, yeah, is a cup of tea too.
So what
Yep.
was so say the sentence again up to there.
Okay. G'day, cobbers. I defo would love to put on a billy with yous.
Wow.
And then the next bit is, but fair dinkum, I'm pretty flat out.
I know flat out means tired.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's really busy in
Okay, flat
Australia.
out. Okay, really busy. And
Yeah.
the first part,
Fair dinkum.
I have no idea.
It kind of just
Okay,
it means like honestly.
honestly, okay.
Yeah.
Fair dinkum.
Fair dinkum. Honestly, I'm pretty flat out. Yeah. So
Yeah,
honestly, I'm really busy, is what I said. Fair dinkum, I'm pretty flat out.
fair dinkum. I'm really flat out, or I'm pretty flat out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And the next bit is she'll be apples though.
She'll be happy, or she'll be okay about it.
Everything will be all right.
Everything will be alright. She'll be happy.
Yeah.
Oh no, she'll be apples. Did you say
She'll be apples though. Yeah.
apples?
Now I'll be stoked to meet one day.
I'll be delighted to meet one day.
I'm happy. Yeah.
I'll be happy to meet one day.
Yeah.
Oh,
In the meantime, we'll all keep up the hard yakka.
we'll keep in touch in the meantime.
We'll keep up the hard work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Say that again. So we'll keep up there.
We'll keep up the hard yakka.
Wow, hard yakka means
Yeah.
hard work.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing. I don't always know where all of them come from. I just know that everyone knows them. So
But do people like, is that like someone in like the city would use, or is it more kind of like on the outskirts?
you definitely find these like idioms more common in the country, but anyone in the city who's, grown up in Australia would definitely understand it. It's on
Wow,
TV,
I
it's
think
common. Yeah, it's pretty up there. It's not uncommon at all.
it's incredible.
Yeah, very cool.
Flabbergasted. It's incredible. I thought, oh, that'll be easy, but it wasn't actually. It's very complex.
Yeah.
Cool. And so, do you have any others or?
Another one I have thought of is it's actually one of my favorites. It's a term when you say, "Oh, won't have a bar of it." It's
Oh
when
yeah.
you don't like something, sort of thing. But what I like about it is actually the history of like where it comes from. So like when you think of it, I won't have a bar of it. You're like, bar of bar of what? Is it like a legal bar or a bar of soap or a chocolate bar or like what do they mean? But yeah, it actually comes from like a music score. So a music
Wow.
score has like a treble clef and the musical notes, and it has bars. So every four beats, depending on the time signature, you would have a bar. And so it's saying like I won't have a bar of it. I won't even hear four beats of that whole song, sort of thing. So yeah, it's
Wow.
very cool.
It is cool. It's so cool. I love like the origins of like sayings and stuff. I
Yeah.
think it's yeah, phenomenal. Like the one that really gets me is to turn no to is it to turn a cold shoulder
Oh yeah.
to give them the cold shoulder, sorry. To give
Yeah.
somebody the cold shoulder.
I don't know the origin of that one.
Yeah, what does that mean? And it comes from, I think, in the Victorian times when there was a visitor who was kind of unwanted or, uninvited,
Okay.
and they would have to give them food. They would give them cold meat, be the
Oh, a
cold
shoulder
shoulder.
of meat.
Yeah,
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
I love
Yes, another one that I've heard that is funny, like there's a change between like different languages, like European um language has a different version of it. And it's the saying that when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Oh, yes.
But I think in other languages, you might be saying something like choosing between cholera and the plague.
Wow.
I've heard it. So yeah, there's lots of different versions of
Yeah.
that particular saying.
I can't remember in Spanish. I think it's, yeah, between the wall and a sword.
Oh, really? That yeah,
Como
yeah.
entre la pared y la espada. I think so. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, but I know
Yeah.
wall and sword. So I
Yeah.
suppose if you're like backed up against the wall with
Yep.
the sword up, then
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Wow,
No, love it.
cool. Okay, I
Language.
had a few of them,
Yeah.
but I suppose you already know them. But let's have it. Let's give it a
All
go.
right. Test me.
I have have a captain cook.
No, I don't know that one.
A look, a brief inspection in honour of the first Brit to map Eastern Australia, Captain James Cook.
Have a look, Captain Cook. Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we have Tell him he's dreaming.
Oh, yeah. Like, no, it's not going to happen.
Dog's breakfast.
Oh, it's a mess.
And the one that I really loved, which I thought was, I don't know why I took a liking to it, was better than, was it? Better than a ham sandwich.
Yeah, better than a ham sandwich. Another good one is you could feed a family for a week with chips and a chook.
What? Is that
So,
the same meaning as better
oh,
than?
no, like chips and a like chook is a chicken. So it's
Oh,
yeah, like it's just if you have like a roast chicken, you can like make several meals out of it, especially you could, have the meat and then you would put it in a soup and then you would, have the leftovers for lunch in your sandwich or something like that. But yeah, that's one of my favorites, chips and a chip.
wow. Okay. Are you ready for some family fortune?
Ooh, I have no idea what this game is about, so hit it with me.
So, this is a famous program in the UK, and I'm sure in other countries as well, but I'm not sure which ones. But I grew up watching this, and I think it's an
Okay.
amazing game. And basically, they've surveyed 100 people,
Oh, yes.
and you have to guess the most popular answer.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So, there's normally five or six answers. but your aim is to guess the top answer.
Okay.
So if you get the first top answer, you'll hear this sound. You'll hear this sound. You'll hear this sound. There we go.
Nice.
If it's on the list, you'll hear this sound.
Good.
If it's not on the list, you'll hear this sound.
Bump bow. Okay. Let's
Are
do
you
it.
ready?
Yeah.
So, the first question we have is, what do you do, or what do people do when they first wake up?
They put on their slippers. Oh,
You have two more tries.
okay. They go to the toilet.
One more try.
Ah, they stretch. Oh, no way.
The top answer was, what do you do when you first wake up? Is 35 people said brush their teeth.
Brush their teeth.
30 people said make some coffee.
Mm-hmm.
20 people said check their phone.
Ooh, yes.
10 people said take a shower. And 5 people said make the bed.
I mustn't do any of those, goodness gracious.
Okay, the next question. What is the best place for someone to study?
The library.
Top
Woo!
answer. Woo! Could you guess maybe the next 4? So you've got the top answer. So the best place for someone to study.
In their bedroom. Oh, no.
Woo!
What about on the couch? No. Okay. Or the kitchen table. Nice.
Perfect, but you got the top answer anyway, so
Yeah,
well done with that.
thank you.
Okay, the next one. Name an outdoor activity.
Walking. Ah. Okay, let's go for bike riding. Excellent.
Fifth answer.
Oh, okay. So we've still got the top answer to try and go for.
Yes.
Outdoor activity. Running.
And that's the top answer.
Ah,
Well
yeah, we
done.
get there eventually.
We have running. Top answer at 40 people said running. 25 people said hiking.
Oh,
16 people said camping. 11 people said biking. And 8 people said fishing. Woohoo!
nice.
We have 2 more. So the next one is name a popular comedy TV series.
Oh no. I'm not going to be very good at this because I haven't watched any UK TV. So
Try American.
American. Oh yeah, let's go for The Office.
It's such a good try though, because The Office is so popular, isn't it?
Yes. What about Parks and Recreation? Ah, no, these are my favorites, obviously.
One more
What
try.
about Brooklyn? Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Oh, you don't know what you're missing out on.
We had the top answer, Friends.
Ah, of course.
Seinfeld. Was it Seinfeld?
Seinfeld, yeah.
Modern Family.
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory.
Mm-hmm.
and The Simpsons.
Oh, of course. Didn't think
Okay.
of those.
And the last one we have is name a reason why parents would ground their child.
They stayed out too late at night.
Fourth
Ooh,
answer.
okay. They're grounded because they didn't do their homework.
I suppose I could give, well, I
Up
know.
to interpretation.
One more try. Just
Okay, I'll go another try. They're grounded because they snuck out at night. Nice. What else we got?
one more.
Oh, okay. Have we got the first one yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Because they crashed the car. No. Aw.
So we have top answer lying,
Oh, right.
getting into a fight,
Ooh.
using a curse word,
Uh-huh.
sneaking out of the house, or failing a test.
That was close, but not close
Yeah,
enough.
so
Yeah.
close. Well, well done.
Yeah.
So you've got, how many top answers did you get? You've got one, two, three top answers out of five. So well
Not
done.
too bad. Cool.
Let's give you standing ovation.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's been lovely having you on the podcast today.
Oh, it's been fun.
I hope it's been
Yeah.
yeah, fun. It's been very fun for me as well, and very informative, very
Oh,
interesting
good.
about efficiency and stuff and what you do. If people want to find out more about your services, how can they contact you?
I think the best way is through Instagram. So it's at laurie.sterling. Yeah, that's the best way. Do you have show notes? I can give you a link to it if that helps.
So, Laurie Stirling, did you say?
No, my Instagram handle is laurie.sterling. And that,
Laurie.Sterling.
yeah, so
Okay.
it's Sterling with an I, not with an E. So
Okay.
it's not pound sterling, it's the
Sorry.
other
The
sterling.
way you said that. Fantastic. So, hope to see you soon.
Thank you very much. Yes, we'll keep in touch for sure.